Welcome, Optimus. Expand your reach through Now and Wow programs. We got a great presentation for you.
Welcome to this presentation. First of all, I would like to talk about recruitment in general. What's important for you to know is that you need to first determine your goal in terms of net plus and break it down in net addition per month. That will make it much easier to achieve. Also, make sure that there is a standing item on your club budget. So you need a budget to hold recruitment events, either WOW or Now, or maybe something else. And you need the budget also to cover your expenses when you invite speakers to your meetings, or to cover expenses when you invite potential members to your meetings. Also address recruitment at every single meeting of your club. Would it be a board of director or a meeting of the members? Don't forget that, out of sight, out of mind. So make sure that you are always talking about recruitment.
Now, there's some things to consider before the event. Determine what kind of event you would like to propose. Again, it could be a Now or a WOW event, or something entirely different, something else. Get that buy-in from your club president first. This is your best support. Secure your board approval for the recruitment event. Again, without president and board, it's not going to go anywhere. Then present the proposal to your club members to get their feedback, their buy-in, and create the enthusiasm for the event. Organize your planning committee. The number of members for this committee is going to vary depending on your own individual club size.
This is one of the most important steps. Members must be on board with inviting friends so the event will be successful. You need to engage your members. Reach out to your club members to get a list of invitees and volunteers. And we will see in the next slide, where you can find invitees. Determine a date and find a venue. If it's a WOW event, this will probably and usually take place at a project or a fundraising location where you are already carrying on something. Also create an event on social media, Facebook and other medias as well, medias of your choice, and get it shared by your members on Facebook or on Instagram for the younger crowd. And use Twitter if you can. There is a presentation on YouTube that I invite you to go and check out. It's really informative. The link is on the presentation. Now, for those of you who enjoys the traditional method, there's nothing wrong with that. Have your members create invites using postcards, letters, or calls, whatever. Just make sure that you reach out. And consider announcing the event in a local newspaper, or otherwise on a community bulletin board, or even at the church, or maybe at the shopping center. Make sure that it's seen.
So where are you going to find these invitees? Just about anywhere. Let's look at these. There's schools, your places where you worship, maybe personal service providers. How about a prior job friends and employees that you used to work with? And let's not forget our neighbors to the east, west, north, south, right around there where you live. How about family and relatives? Club and sport venues that you may go to? How about that gym that we're all supposed to be going to and working out? There's other community organizations that you can invite folks from. There's, of course, just anyone you might meet just in conversation somewhere. How about your social circles? I know you might belong to another club or something somewhere along the line. And then there's business contacts. Your choice, kind of the similar thing as to let's invite anyone and everyone.
Now, sign up members to help with the event. Again, members, the help of your members will be critical. So you sign them up to help, either to set up the equipment or, the food, the beverage, if you're serving that. Have someone to greet people at the door, and have a membership table, have some club presenters, people that will help you, tear equipment down. And prepare a short speech about your club. And I'm not talking about, a short speech about the whole organization or the regions. Just talk about your club and what you do, your activities, your social events, and your impact on your community. This is really important. And anticipate questions from newcomers and be ready to answer them. It's not everybody that knows the Optimist Club. Actually, what I heard is that, Optimist clubs are the best kept secret. So anticipate questions. Also, a good idea would be to prepare a video with pictures of your activities, showing people that are having fun. That's really important. Having fun at doing what they are doing for the community. Like the picture should be grandma approved though. Now, this video, you can play it back in the loop during a social portion of your event, on a screen or on a wall. It doesn't even need to have some sound. Just, roll the pictures over and over again. And as you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if you have 50 pictures, you can imagine how much that tells. Also, get business cards ready and memberships application forms as well. Don't show up at your event without membership application forms, because some people will want to sign and you will need to be able to address that right away.
So here we are, the day of your event. And there's some things that are going to go on during that event. Everyone's always excited. Get them there early. Get your workers there early. If you run an online event, do a dry run before to ensure capacity. Have someone there to welcome your members and guests. If the event is in person, ask each guest to sign that guest book with their name, phone number, and email address. If the event is online, try to obtain that information ahead of time. Direct the members and the guests to an area where they can begin helping with the project or the fundraiser. If this is a wow event, have a seasoned, enthusiastic club member in each area so that they can chat about what the club does for children and the community that you're in. Direct member and guests to a particular table where they can enjoy a meal or a snack if this is a now event. Have the club presenters use a microphone so that guests can actually hear the presentation about the club's activities for children and their community. And keep your presentations to a minimum. Too much information can be information overload. For a now or a wow event, have closers who are club members willing to ask the guests to join or at least come to another event or meeting before they leave.
Okay, as I mentioned a bit earlier, understand your audience. What are the expectations of your prospect? This may require some homework before the event. What is your target looking for? New members are not all looking at the same thing. They're not looking for the same thing. Some people are looking for, social, gatherings. Some people are looking for, servicing their communities. Some people want to have volunteer experience. Be sure to understand your audience. What is your target ready to give? Is it specialized services? Is that only money? Is that support here and then at one event, at all events? Make sure you know that. What is your target available time? How much time is your target going to be available to help you and your club? Is it only once in a blue moon? Is it every Saturday? Is it every day? Is it 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week? Make sure that you know that so that you will be in a better position to understand their need so that you can fill those needs.
Continuing our things to do during the event, let's be ready to answer questions. What are the expectations of your club? Be upfront and avoid disappointment to the new member or to your club. Now, in terms of hours, number of hours expected, be specific, but leave the door open for more time to be provided by your new member. In terms of payment for the dues, why do we charge them? Services from OI, insurance coverage, etc. You can call them Contribution to the club financial health. That's another way of looking at it. What are some of the other expectations that you might be thinking of, or they might be thinking of?
Yes, it's important to address those questions. And also, don't forget, tell your prospects why you want them. People want to know that they are needed. So what contribution can they bring to your mission as a club? What is unique about them that makes them so much the best person to take this or that project? People want to feel useful. People want to contribute. And if a prospect agrees to become a member, you just get that application right away and you get it signed at once. Do not wait. Because the one thing that you will realize is that if you don't get the signature right away, people will go back home and they will start reflecting about, whether they have the time or whether they have whether they are enthusiastic enough to be a member. And chances are that they will not come back or that they will not want to sign up right away. If you get the application signed right away, this removes all that stress that the person is bringing back home, because this is a resolved issue in their mind and in your mind, and it's much easier for everybody. So if someone says, yes, I want to be a member, you get the application out and you get it signed.
Now, your wow or now event or other event is over. And wasn't it fun? And it was most likely truly successful. But within a few days, you're going to need to send a thank you note to your prospects for attending the event, signed by your club president and yourself, the person who invited the guest. No later than 1 week after the event, ask the members who brought a guest so that you can follow up with them. If you have another event in the works, make sure to invite the guest to come again. Follow up with your new members to ensure that they attend the next club meeting or event. If this is a person unknown to your members, please assign a mentor to this new member. They will definitely appreciate it. Have a debrief with your committee members, then prepare a report to the board on the success of the event, because it is going to be successful. Include what worked well and what can be improved on for the next event. Above all, do not ever give up after one try. Building membership is an ongoing project for all clubs. All clubs.
Now, make sure that you start planning the next event right away. Recruiting is not so difficult. It is much easier than people think. And if you stay around just a few minutes, we have a few videos where people will share with you their experience as a recruiter. Thank you.
Well, hello, and I'm happy to be here today. I'm Abigail Nicholas, and I am a member of Optimus International Membership Committee, and I have two amazing people here with me this afternoon, and I personally have known them for years. Claire Young and John Young. Claire is in one of the clubs that I belong to, the Tamarack Optimus Club, and John Young is a member of the mighty Monaco South Optimus Club. But we were very curious about how they have brought so many members in. So I'm going to start off, since I've already mentioned what club you belong to. How did you both get invited to join your clubs? Claire, why don't you start first?
Well, we are both charter members. So as you know, charter members don't have a sponsor, but John was the encouraging factor for me to become a charter member of Tamarack because he was the Tamarack sponsor. So John, you tell the story about how Ron invited you to come and picked you up for your first meeting.
I don't even remember. Ron who did?
Well, I don't remember his last name either.
I don't know, been so long ago, someone invited me and I said, well, I'll go. I did. And I enjoyed it. And I then sponsored over 100 people. And I just invite people when I see them. And you can kind of tell who'd be a good person.
But he came to pick John up that morning. John had forgotten all about it. And John said, go on without me. And he said, no, I'll wait. So he did, and the rest is history.
Persistence is a wonderful thing sometimes. So how long have you both been a member of an Optimist Club?
47 years for John and 28 for me.
Woo, that's a nice combination of years there. All right. And as I mentioned, you're known for your ability to find new club members. So Claire, could you tell us about how you go about locating and then convincing them to join our wonderful clubs?
We all have our little cocoons that we live in, but it's important to just be friendly and meet new people. And there are opportunities to do that everywhere. I don't think you see my shirt, but I have dogs on my shirt. And you can always meet people out dog walking and strike up a conversation. And the key thing is to listen. I used to tell people you kind of go around with your antenna twitching and you just pick up signals. If somebody says, well, I'm new to town, I'd love to meet some new people. Well, I could introduce you to some people in my Optimist Club. And I try to work Optimist Club into my conversation somehow. And then I listen to see if that sparks a response. Oh, I'm way too busy, or no, I wouldn't ever do a service club. But if somebody says, well, that sounds interesting, what do the optimists do? Then you're off and running and you can tell them and be enthusiastic about what your club does. John, is that pretty much your MO?
That's it. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And do you, let's say the person says no the first time, do you ask again at a different moment, or do you just kind of I think I know the answer from Claire because she's just so good at it, but tell us, do you just let them go or do you ask again?
It depends. It depends on what their reasoning is. Some people have a very valid reason why they can't or don't want to participate at that very moment. But if there's a spark of interest, I think the really important thing is to get their information. If it's somebody you don't know,
right.
I always try to write down their contact information and follow up. I think that's the biggest mistake that most people make is they don't follow up, because rarely do you ever get somebody who says, right on, I'll be there next week. You know, they forget until they get into the rhythm of coming. So sometimes you have to follow up a lot of times.
Okay. And again, tell us, Claire and John, approximately how many members that you have brought into each of your clubs?
John?
Somewhere over 100, I don't know, 110 or 20.
We should have confetti and everything going right now.
That's kind of a combined number. John is probably close to 90 and I'm about 38 or so.
Oh, that's just excellent, to say the least, really. And I know personally a lot of the members that these two wonderful people have brought into the Tamarack Optimist Club and the Monaco South Club. I just consider them all dear friends. Do you have any other comments anything else you'd like to add?
One thing I would add is that I think another mistake that people make is that they think you have to know the person or be a friend to somebody that you're going to recruit. And that is not true at all. You become friends, but I'll just give one example that might spark somebody's thought process. We had a woman in our club who was the coffee setup lady. And she would sit in the back of the room after she'd served the coffee and listen to our meetings. And so I started visiting with her and found out her circumstances. She joined and she loves the group. She was a person who needed a sisterhood since we're an all-female group. And of course, John and I kind of have an advantage because we have two different clubs. So sometimes I get spouses from his club to join the all women's club.
Oh, yes.
That's happened sometimes. But
absolutely.
But I do think a mistake is that people feel like they have to know the person well in order to invite them to come. And a second thing I would throw out is don't overlook former members, because people join and then sometimes they drop out for various reasons. Maybe there's an illness in the family, or they go back to work, or for some reason they need to drop out. Re-invite them. Yep. We have several members that have rejoined and become good members.
I can think of one dear sweet little thing right now in our Optimist Club that rejoined after you asked her again. So,
you know, in my conversation with Claire yesterday, and she graciously, with John, agreed to do this, she mentioned one thing about just asking. Claire, would you like to maybe expand on that a little bit before we sign off?
Well, that's the real obvious one. Don't be afraid to ask. Both John and I have background in sales. And so you know, if you've ever been in sales, that if you ask for the order, or you ask for what you want, you know, or you hope people will say yes to, you're going to get some rejection. Don't feel rejected, but ask anyway. And sometimes you'll get a yes, but do follow up. Do follow up. I'll give you another example that just happened to us this week. We were shopping at the grocery store, and this clerk that was out there gathering the baskets together came over to John and he said, "I recognize you from the tree lot, the Optimist tree lot." And so we chatted a little bit, and clearly he knows about the Optimist, seemed kind of interested. He said, "I also know Joe Markey." Well, good. So I came home and I sent an email to Joe and said, "Have you followed up with Max over at Safeway? Because he seems to know you and he'd like to be re-invited to the Optimist." So just ask and then follow up.
Anything else? And if not, I just want to thank you both so much, not only for the advice and the information, but honestly for what you have done. Hello to all. I am Abigail Nicholas. I am on the Optimist International Membership Committee, and here today with us is a fascinating gentleman. I know him quite well for many years. His name is Craig Baldwin, and he is not only a member of the Heather Gardens Optimist Club, but he has been a district treasurer on and off in our district for many years. And so he knows his way around. But I heard, and I know that he is very good at finding new members for his club. So we're going to get some information from him. Let's start with Craig. How did you get invited to join your club?
We had some friends that invited us. Both the husband and wife were members, and they invited Jean and me to join about 11 years ago.
Oh, 11 years. Okay, very good. And as I mentioned, you're known for your ability to find new club members. So would you share with us how you go about locating a prospective new member and maybe then convincing them to join?
Well, we live in a senior community, 55 and older people, and about 4,000 population. And we have a resident orientation each month for new residents that come in. And as a director of the association, I was asked to provide information on the workings of the association. And so as I began speaking, and then after a few months, I asked the staff that was in charge of the programs if I could mention Optimist Club, and they agreed. So I took a packet each month and passed it out and asked and told them about the wonderful Optimist Club that we have. It's the only service club in our community. And that's how I got most of my membership, most of my sponsors. Yeah.
And how many do you think that you have brought in over your 11 years?
Well, I have brought in 51, and Jean, my wife, has brought in 9. So
oh my goodness,
got about 60.
Yes, a nice round 60. And I heard you say that you bring packets, so you have an application and information right there.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I always bring a pen, a Optimist pen, so they can fill it out if they so desire.
So no excuse about, oh, I can't sign that, I don't have a pen.
Yeah, that's exactly
right.
And I'll help them fill it out too.
Right. So do you have a couple of fun stories you might want to share with us and getting some people in?
Well, yes, I had one gentleman, I mentioned our food drive, and he said that back in Virginia, where they came from, that they had a food drive also, and he went on and on and on about how they were so successful it was. And I said, then you need to join Optimist so that you can be the chairman of our food drive. And he and his wife became members then, shortly after that.
So would you say that trying to find out a little bit about the person helps before you really ask them, because then you kind of know where they would fit into your Optimist Club?
Yes, of course, the setting that we have at the resident orientation, there's not a chance for them to speak about themselves. That comes later. But I'll tell you, one of the ways that I've been able to do that is that we have pancake breakfast, spring and fall. We have ice cream social. And on the tables, we put welcome to Heather Gard's Optimist Club pancake breakfast or ice cream, whatever it is. And if you would like to know more about the Optimist Club, ask an optimist. And I would go and sit at the table with them once they had an interest, and that's when I found out about them. Yes, that's.
So because I think that it's very important to be able to tell them something wonderful that will meet their needs,
Exactly.
you know, up front, if you can do that. So that is great.
I might, excuse me, I might add that with the people that come to the resident orientation, they may have already had a service background, and when they come, they may be looking for a way to serve the community.
You do some kind of planned follow-up or anything after they've received that packet, or do you check in with them? Do you get their information up front?
Yes and no.
Okay.
One of the things that I have done in the past, is I don't take no for an answer. No isn't in my vocabulary. Had one couple join the club about a year after I was introduced to them, and they made a point when they joined, said Craig was on us for a year, and we finally couldn't say no anymore. And a good couple. They were a good couple to have with us.
Well, good. Okay, I think that's fascinating. And again, so between you and Jean, you have brought in 60 new members in 11 years. And by the way, I don't know how you got into that, retirement community, because I thought you were 39. I know that's what you told me. So.
Okay. Yeah, we were married when we were really young, yes.
Right.
We're not quite 55 yet.
Okay. Do you have any other comments for us, Craig, in regards to new membership?
Well, I had business cards made up, and on the back of the business card, I put a free breakfast with the Optimist Club, and our restaurant does not serve breakfast, only to the Optimist Club. So they knew that a breakfast meant with the Optimist, not just walking into the restaurant. So yeah, that's the way a lot of people were invited that way too. Show this card when you come to check in for the meeting.
Great idea. Great idea. Thank you so much for sharing today. Much appreciated.